Hey guys, Braden Maher here. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how you can stop starting and stopping your diet all the time. This is exactly what's keeping most people on this never-ending roller coaster of losing weight only to gain it all back, or otherwise known as yo-yo dieting. I actually used to be trapped in this mindset for 6 years. I would always start and stop. I had this all or nothing mentality with nutrition and really other areas of my life because I have an extreme personality. And I would catch myself, okay, well, hey, it's time to start. I'm going to go all in with this, no errors whatsoever. And if I did have an error, it's like, you know what? Let me just go all in with these like donuts and cookies and all this other stuff that's just not in alignment with my health. And then I would start over when the time was right. And if you can relate to this, I know you're going to find a ton of value in this video and how you can overcome this mindset and reframe this. First things first, a diet is not something that you go on. Your diet is your habitual pattern of eating, and it is nothing more. Your diet is just simply the food that you put into your mouth all the time. Technically, everybody is on a diet. So when you hear somebody say, I'm on a diet, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I cringe a little bit because it's like, all right, well, where are you going? Like where it's again, it's not something that we label or give a name to, which leads me to my next point is like, don't label your diet. Don't label it. It's not something that you give a name to. I'm on carnivore, I'm on keto, I'm on Weight Watchers, I'm on Optavia, I do intermittent fasting, like I'm on this, I'm on that. Like there's so many out there that I haven't even heard of, to be completely honest with you. But stop labeling things, because when we label things, we have these restrictions in place, and given we're just inherently rebellious, if we ever go like deviate off of the bylaws or commandments of this name diet or diet trend that we're abiding by, then it creates that like unhealthy relationship with food. For example, if you're doing keto or carnivore, all carbs are bad, right? So if you do have a carbohydrate every now and then, you being a human, once you have that carbohydrate, it's likely hard for you to stop eating that, whether it be a moment, whether it be days or weeks. So don't label your diet. You don't need to do this. If your goal is to be healthy and lose body fat, you don't need to hop on any of these trends. This is one of the core pieces of my message, is hopping from one trend to the other. And I would say this is the number one mistake, next to starting and stopping, obviously, it ties in with that. That is keeping people from being lean and healthy, is that they're always hopping from one trend to the other. Yes, I know there's success stories out there. All these diets, they work practically speaking, especially with weight loss. If a calorie deficit is present, that's how any diet works, right? With weight loss, we'll hear these success stories and we'll get emotionally bought in, and we feel like, oh, I need to try that because Lily Joe over here, she lost 50 pounds and cured this and cured that. And really, it was just a byproduct of losing weight and being healthier, right? Maybe she was able to do that through keto, but I would ask, is Lily Joe able to do that forever? It's not, she doesn't have to do keto to get the results that she wanted to, but if she's able to stick with that forever and her health markers are in a good spot, I actually support that. But for most people, it's just not necessary. And a lot of these name diets, elimination diets especially, they're not intended for the general public for losing weight and being healthy. They're not. They're used to be used temporarily to treat an illness like autoimmune, for example, or like diabetes or something like that. But again, it's temporary. It's not meant to be a lifestyle. Now, some of the trends like Optavia and Weight Watchers and stuff, like I just can't wrap my head around that stuff. I don't know who can do that stuff forever. But again, like I've never in my life have I seen somebody do something like that and stick with it. And that goes for keto and carnivore too. Actually, I know of a few people supposedly, but usually what ends up happens is that they start introducing fruits and vegetables and other foods that aren't in alignment and that were labeled bad before. So instead of hopping from trend to trend and labeling diets, if your goal is to be lean and healthy, you can eat carbs, you can eat fats, you can eat protein, like you can eat all this stuff. If it came from an animal, eat it. If it was grown from the ground, you can eat that too. So this is how I keep nutrition really simple for most people, and it looks different for everybody just based off of your dietary preferences. There's a lot of factors that come into play here, but I'm going to give you the simple formula. So first and foremost is prioritize quality foods, like I just mentioned, animal and plant foods alike. Anytime you design a meal, build it around the protein source. Nobody overconsumes protein. A lot of people are also overweight because they're severely under consuming protein, and protein is the most satiating macronutrient. And then lastly, obviously, if your goal is to be lean and to lose body fat, you've got to put yourself in calorie deficit. Now, carbs and fats are interchangeable with weight loss. Like it can be up or down either way, and we usually don't see any differences, but it ultimately just depends on how you respond and how you feel. Some people are better fit for lower carb, and some people are better fit for higher carb. It depends on activity levels, depends on where you're at currently with your weight. There's a lot of factors that come into play here, but I wouldn't stress about that initially. Just see how you feel and then alter it as you progress into your journey. And then lastly, if you have a moment, like say it's a weekend it's a social event or a vacation and you fall off a little bit, like if you fall off the wagon and maybe you eat some foods that are a little ultra processed and you overconsume calories, don't say, all right, you know what, I'm just going to stop for a second and I'm going to start again when the time is right, like when the vacation is over. That is the mindset that we're trying to reframe here, is this start and stop. So the best thing to do is to sit with it for a second, learn from it, ask yourself, what was I feeling in that moment? Accept it for what it is, course correct, and just simply get back on track immediately instead of self sabotage for days on days. That is the vicious cycle of starting and stopping. It's this all or nothing mentality that we've got to get rid of. And really, we don't have to take it so serious. If you mess up, just simply get back on track. It's not that complicated. If you have a moment or a day where you were really off, if you zoom out and you're consistent 80% of the time, then honestly, it's not going to make too big of a difference. Like, sure, we would love to be 100%, but nobody's perfect, right? So forgive yourself. Like I said, sit with it, accept the feelings that you had, course correct, and get back on track rather than stopping and then starting when the time is right, because the stars are never going to align. There's never going to be a perfect scenario to be the best version of yourself with your health, with your wealth, with your relationships. Do the best that you can. Unarguably, it's better to give some effort than none at all, because again, the perfect time does not exist. So there you have it. Remember that your diet is your habitual pattern of eating. Nothing more than that. It's not something that you give a name to. It's not something that you label. Stick with what I call the three pillars: prioritizing nutrient dense foods, animal and plant foods. Build your meals around protein. Make sure that you're in a calorie deficit, obviously, if your goal is weight loss. And then if you mess up, accept it, course correct, and simply move on. I hope you guys found value in this video. Now, if you would like more one-on-one support from myself and my team with your weight loss journey, book a call with me. We'll discuss where you're at currently. We'll talk about ultimately where you're trying to go and how we can potentially help you with this. Thank you guys again. Stay healthy and God bless.